As we mentioned, outages are the main concern at this point. Matt Mitchell with Austin Energy joins us now with more on the discussion on this. Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be with you, Jenny. Good day to you.
Good day to you, too. Okay, so we just mentioned more than 154,000 customers remain without power. This winter storm warning has now expired. How will that speed up crews working to restore power, Matt?
Well, we anticipate being able to get to a lot more locations and restore power more quickly because of those winter weather advisory, that winter weather advisory having expired, and some of those outside conditions improving considerably. Now, the big thing that we're making sure of is that our crews are being careful and safe as they do so. That's always our top priority, and moving as quickly as possible. And at the same time, that falling ice, tree limbs that are now unburdened by some of that ice as it falls off can spring up, contact our overhead lines again, and still create problems. So it's, yes, we're not out of the woods yet, but things are improving. It's just one of those things, whereas our GM, Jackie Sargent, you heard just a moment ago saying, just as soon as we have one restoration process completed, sometimes another one will pop up. It's like whack-a-mole all over our service area right now. So kudos to the crews out there doing the hard work.
Of course, we thank them for their hard work. And that whack-a-mole situation is creating a lot of frustration for customers. Viewers have told us they haven't gotten timely updates, and the outage map is slow. What is Austin Energy doing to improve communications?
Completely understand that frustration. When we are in storm mode as we are, the typical text messages and updates that customers usually receive when we have outages are suspended. And just because of the sheer volume of outages that we've had, over 1,000, I think the count now is 1,300. I believe it's understandable to know that we can't possibly update every single outage in real time as we typically try to do when there are outages that are not as widespread. So that's part of it. The other issue that we had was reporting, the reporting feature that we have through our outage map. Understand completely that it caused frustration for our customers. It caused frustration for the utility as well. We worked with our third-party vendor to make those changes and to get that back up and running. It should be up and running now. But that was a congestion issue. Again, because we had so many people accessing our feature right there, it caused it to have a congestion issue and to not work correctly. Thankfully, I believe that has been corrected and things are working normally now.
Now, we heard from GM Jackie Sargent discuss vegetation management or tree trimming in a press conference held this morning. How much does that play into the outages, and how do Austin's tree ordinances affect Austin Energy's vegetation management?
Well, as you heard, if anyone was watching the press conference earlier, our GM, Jackie Sargent, did mention that we'll be working with our policymakers to address that and see how we can improve going forward as far as those ordinances and tree trimming regulations that we need to adhere to. I think what she was saying that really resonated with me and hopefully with many of the viewers at home is that tree trimming and vegetation management is a team effort. I know it's been a huge effort and a huge priority for the utility, certainly over the last several years, and it has been for the city of Austin at large. At the same time, it's another indication for homeowners and those that have some of that beloved tree canopy that we all love and appreciate here in Austin, that has to be managed. And when it's not, it can have really dire effects when we have an ice storm like this. So it's an unfortunate wake-up call, I think, to a lot of us, that these wonderful trees have to be managed, have to be trimmed and maintained, so that when we do have an ice storm like this, the effects are less impactful as much as possible.
Absolutely, Matt. Now, many have been without power for more than 24 hours now. How does Austin Energy prioritize which neighborhoods get attention first?
That's a great question, and it's not so much about an individual neighborhood. It's very much about what is the critical infrastructure that has to be addressed. So we start with hospitals, we start with water plants, making sure that those elements that we need to maintain our society and infrastructure are number one on the list. And then we go down towards other priority targets like nursing homes, those kinds of things. And then we start triaging in basically to what will have the most positive effect and restore the most number of customers as those outages are reported. So we want to go for volume, right? As quickly as we can restore power to the most number of people. So it's very much a triage situation. Austin Energy has been in an emergency response stance for more than the last 48 hours, and will continue to be until all of our customers are restored. And that really is a 24-hour-a-day job. So we're treating it as such.
Matt Mitchell, anything else viewers need to know at this point?
Yes, and I appreciate that opportunity. But one thing that our customers need to be reminded of, that you never, ever want to touch a down power line. I know a lot of us, including myself, are digging out after a power outage and seeing those downed limbs in our yard. And if there is ever a power line that is tangled in with those limbs, do not approach it. Assume that it is live and report that to us. You can call 512-322-9100. That number is also on our website to report that. We will make that a priority to make sure that we come out and clear that line so that it is not energized and you are not in danger. Because I understand the impulse to go out there and just start pulling limbs off of one another to try to clear the debris, but you want to be extra careful of that. The other thing is, when power is restored, circuits can become overloaded because of lights, electronics, and thermostats that are left on prior to that outage. This is what we call a cold load pickup. And it can cause a second outage, because if there's too much load on the line when we energize that circuit, it can trip off again. And then you've got another outage. So we can avoid that by folks experiencing the outage, unplugging any fixtures or appliances, turning off their thermostats, so that when we bring those circuits back online and energize those lines, they stay energized.
Useful and life-saving tips from Matt Mitchell of Austin Energy. Thank you so much for your time, Matt.
Pleasure being with you.